Dante's Crossing as we look at the Vampire Tarot. So this one can go with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I thought of. So yeah, so kind of interesting. So let's dive into it here. I haven't looked at this yet. I was going to say, why is there a blank piece of paper? But here we are. So that's the book. 2-piece box, of course. Another one of Lucy Cavendish's decks, which I really like. Right. Let's have a look at the cards. That's the backs. Whoops. That's the backs to them. Okay, the guidebook. Let's have a look at the guidebook to begin with. What have we got? So again, it's all about the introduction, the contents, okay, which is quite good. Lifting the veil, Les Vampires lifting the veil. You're about to meet the most elegant, most lonely, and most seductive guardians of them all. Who are Les Vampires? Why would Les Vampires help me? Why work with Les Vampires? How will you know they are with you? What Les Vampires will help you with? Are vampires real? A modern vampire story. Mercy Brown. Layouts. A ceremony blessing of your deck. Les Vampires of thee I ask to help me now with this my task. And say thank you to the Great Spirit, the universe, the God, and the Goddess, and then let the incense deck. How to shuffle your cards. There's ways to do that. Reading for others. And then you've got the spreads. You've got the Trinity. Complete look at what you're facing. Okay, the Trinity offers a complete look at what you're facing in the situation. So the card to the left is the underneath. Gives you clues as to the influence of the past and what's impacted upon you. Okay, so kind of interesting there. Then you've got a light in the darkness, which is like a 13 circle spread, which is kind of interesting to dive into. So I'm looking forward to sort of trying that out. Okay, and then you go into the cards. Okay, so it's got a little black and white image there, but it has got its number, the card, the keywords, and then of course your Les Vampires speak, a blessing, a curse, and then working with this card. So there's always quite a lot of information per card if you want to dive into it. If you're just doing a quick reading and you're just using the titles and whatever else you get through, that's fine. When you're working and you want to dive a little bit more into the card, the guidebook's going to give you a lot more information to use with your reading. So kind of cool. The author Lucy Cavendish, the artist of course Jasmine Beckett Griffith. So absolutely cool. So let's have a look at the imagery of these cards. Okay, so you've got internal youth, energy, newness, and vitality, and that's number 1. Okay, so kind of interesting there. So I think it'd be interesting to dive into this deck. I just thought it would be sort of energy-wise, maybe. I think it could be used with Supernatural Tarot as well. I mean, I could really sort of use it with a variety of decks, any sort of vampire-y deck as well. And I just think Supernatural does have that sort of vampire energy as well. That's one thing I like about Supernatural Tarot. It's sort of got a horror theme to it. It's got the vampire, the deep, dark, and dangerous monstery type energy. It's got the dark mirror, the shadow aspect of it. The graveyard, embroidered graveyard energy. So I think with decks like that have a sort of a storyline or a bit of a theme, that can be used with lots of different decks. So yeah, I think this is really quite cool. So yeah, I think supernatural, or definitely any sort of vampire, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, any sort of vampire tarot deck could go really well with this as well. So I quite like that idea. So, see, I'm finding like the oracle decks can go with multiple different tarot decks. Tarot decks can have multiple different oracle decks. So that's one thing I quite like, and that's what I've ended up with, quite a variety of decks in my collection. I do like the art. I do like these. I wouldn't mind a few more of these type of shapeshifter. I know there's a few of her decks I quite like. I just haven't had the time to get them. You're sort of going through, there's so many amazing decks out there, and you're trying to sort of collect, or you're trying to add what you can to your collection. I mean, there's so many amazing creations being created all the time, and so you've got yeah, there's so many amazing decks, so you could spend a fortune. I mean, I feel like I have, but over time, over the years, but quite nice to sort of get a few different decks coming up. So I'm hoping my internet settles, which seems to be starting to. Hopefully it'll, with the weather warms up a little bit, it will start to, it's not so windy. So yeah, I really like this. I like this imagery. Quite thick sort of cards too, which are quite cool. Right, okay. Let's have a look and see. Okay, tell me about this deck. Tell me about your... Ooh, about you. What have we got? Call for help. Reach out. So this is a deck that's going to reach out when you need help. Kind of interesting. Okay. What else can you tell me about you? What else? If you're a deck that reaches out when people need help. What else? You're a deck with compassion. Okay, you're going to be sympathetic. Compassion. I think you're a deck with a lot of energy and vitality. Okay, so this tells me that it's a deck that's going to reach out when you really need help. This is a deck that's got a lot of compassion, so it's going to be quite a gentle deck in many ways. I think it feels like it's going to be quite gentle, and it has a sense of what was I going to say? A lot of vitality, a lot of energy to it. Okay, oops, and this also popped out, which was... Okay, it's going to get you to release a lot of energy as well. Sort of rituals, ecstatic rituals. So I think there's going to be a lot of rituals with this deck as well. A lot of rituals, a lot of releasing and letting go of stuff. So kind of interesting there. Sense of yielding, rapture, bliss. Bliss, I think, stands out to me here. A bit of, well, it gets you to sort of, I feel like it's yielding, or surrendering to your, surrendering to what's important, but giving you a sense of bliss, a sense of peace as well in the situation. So, yes, I think it's a deck that's quite gentle. There's that compassion. Definitely feel like there's that compassion, that vitality, that energy. A lot of reaches out to you, but it's going to get you to release and let go of a lot of stuff. Release and let go of a lot of stuff, and allowing you to sort of surrender to it. It's kind of interesting there. Okay, so that's it from me. Don't forget to check the links down below. Check the links on my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care. Blessed day.